Nintendo just revealed a brand new Nintendo Direct, and it pretty much showed us a lot more than I think a lot of people were expecting, showing us that there are a lot of games to look forward to moving throughout the end of this year. A brand new Mario & Luigi, a brand new top-down 2D Zelda, a brand new Mario Party, and a lot more. But with all that in mind, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to what's Nintendo's next move, because we don't really know. This very well, in my mind, could have been the very last Nintendo Direct focused for current Switch. Starting to believe that the very next Nintendo Direct might not even happen, or might be solely focused on the future, meaning all 2025 stuff, which in my opinion would have to mean that it can't be based on current Switch, because if the rumors are correct, and if Nintendo is actually telling the truth, we're about to get reveals of this new console probably sometime at the end of this year. And let's talk about Nintendo's September Direct. So normally we would probably have a Direct in the next 3 months, being in the month of September. With September pretty much being the end of the year, where normally the big games are coming out around this time anyway, Nintendo doesn't really have a lot of stuff to share for the rest of the remainder of the current year. Mostly the stuff is all talked about for the year that follows. So unless Nintendo has a huge lineup the couple of months leading up to Switch 2, I really don't know if Nintendo would even want to have a Nintendo Direct in September, because I almost see that Direct just being a Switch 2 presentation, because it just doesn't quite make sense what to announce. It's about Switch 2 time, and I believe the lineup that we've seen already is it for Switch. Honestly, I think these are the last couple of games that we're going to be getting for Nintendo Switch before we move on. So let's look at Nintendo's September Direct last year, for example, and let's just talk about what they showed there. They showed side-ordered DLC for Splatoon 3, which would not come out until the spring of the following year. They revealed the Mario vs. Donkey Kong GBA remake, which obviously wouldn't come out till this year as well. They touched more on Mario RPG, which wasn't coming out until a couple months later in November, so we could probably see some Mario and Luigi stuff around this time in September this year. They showed us another Code Recollection, which wouldn't come out until the beginning of this year. They gave us a proper reveal and trailer for Princess Peach Showtime, which we technically already knew about. We got a small snippet during the June Nintendo Direct, so we knew a little bit about this, but they show off finally the big stuff in this Direct, and we know that it wasn't coming until around March of the following year. They showed Detective Pikachu, which was our October game, so once again, yes, we're gonna get information on the October and November game, which in this case is Mario Party and obviously Mario and Luigi. They showed Luigi's Mansion 2, which still isn't even out yet. They had another November game to show off, which was WarioWare Move It at the time. We don't have 2 November games this time. It's just 1 October game and 1 November game, so there's nothing there for us this year. They showed the final wave of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, which will launch shortly after the show. Once again, we don't have anything like that this year. And obviously, they ended the show with Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake, which wouldn't come out until May of this year. So yes, September is the time to reveal games for the following year. Obviously, next year is going to be different. Next year is looking to be the launch of the Switch 2, and I don't even think it's looking, it's pretty much guaranteed. In fact, it looked like the Switch 2 was planned for this year, but the rumors are suggesting that the only reason it got pushed back was simply due to the fact that they needed their software lineup to be stronger. Their launch lineup needed some work, and they ended up pushing it back because of this. So in my head, I'm thinking they pushed it back, and they have a lot of games to reveal, so this might be the show in September where we get a lot of information for Switch 2, and it might primarily be Switch 2 related. Now, if this is the case, in my head, I'm also thinking, wouldn't they have to reveal the Switch 2 by then? They'd probably have to show the Switch 2 off in some capacity, so that way for the September Direct, we know what we're getting. But I don't know, is it still too soon? This is a very hard thing to predict. We don't know what Nintendo's plans are for Switch 2, and I think it'd make it a lot easier if I knew exactly when this console was going to be revealed. So there's a good chance, in my opinion, that we may not even have a Nintendo Direct in September. They might ride the rest of the year out with all the games that they have announced and make us wait for something like in October or November, where in September is just a partner direct or something, revealing some small third-party games that could be coming to the console still later this year and the very beginning of next year. The only way I could see there being a regular September Direct is if for some reason Nintendo Switch 2 is not ready at the beginning of next year, and we have to wait until like the summer or maybe even the end of next year, which just does not add up to me. I don't think there's a potential for that at all. I don't see Switch 2 going past April or May. No way in the world. So I really am expecting there to be some big information on Switch 2 games. And that's another thing, is we don't know what Switch 2 games are coming. We don't even know for sure if Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a Switch 2 game. A lot of people are thinking so, but we don't know for sure. I mean, Metroid Prime 4 could be a game we see right before Switch 2 comes out, but it comes to Switch 1. I don't know why Nintendo would want to do something like that. It could be a cross release for both Switch 1 and Switch 2. 2? It's hard to say right now. We're just gonna have to wait and see what Nintendo's planning on. But with the fact of them actually delaying Switch 2, it makes me almost want to say that there's a very good chance that that's because they wanted a whole bunch of games on the console, including Metroid Prime 4. It's also been brought to my attention that like all the games revealed during this Nintendo Direct are still kind of smaller projects, and none of them are like from Nintendo's in-house first-party studios like Nintendo EPD. Like for the recent Mario Party games and every single one on Nintendo Switch, it's always been left to Indie Cube, so obviously that's not Nintendo handling that. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom could be base Nintendo, it's hard to tell, but Grezzo did in fact make the Link's Awakening remake, and a lot of people think that they could have also been the primary, producers of this Zelda Echoes of Wisdom game. Donkey Kong Country Returns is a slight HD remaster and being done by Forever Entertainment. I don't even know who they are, so yep, that's not in-house Nintendo. Apparently, Mario & Luigi is being produced by Brilliant Diamonds developers, ILCA, which is also consisting of past Alpha Dream developers, which is pretty cool, but once again, not in-house Nintendo really. Like Nintendo's main studio has been pretty quiet and really haven't given us anything, I think, this entire year outside of Princess Peach Showtime. Even that game was being produced under Goodfield, the modern Yoshi game developers. So yeah, Nintendo has pretty much been having their hands full and plenty of time to develop the next big first-party games for Nintendo. The next big 3D Mario or Mario Kart, Splatoon, or even the next Donkey Kong. There's a lot that they could be working on right now. As these reveals are all really cool, we don't have that one game that's like really huge from Nintendo's main developer studio. Like for instance, even Metroid Prime 4 being our next biggest game to look forward to is being developed by Retro Studios. So what in the world is core Nintendo working on right now? And I feel like it's almost time for them to have to reveal something. I know I've said this enough by now, but it's so incredibly clear that Nintendo Switch 2 is either launching with a 3D Mario or Mario Kart. And it's not even a surprise. It's been a while since both of these. In fact, it's been about 8 years since Odyssey and 10 years since Mario Kart 8. So it's about time that we start to see what the heck is Nintendo working on for this Switch 2 and its launch title. And if Switch 2 is coming out at the beginning of next year, I think waiting all the way until September for a big reveal is a very long time. I almost want to say we should probably be seeing something very soon, at least just confirming the existence of Switch 2. I mean, Nintendo already did that, but I'm talking about in the lines of showing us the console and actually giving us a glimpse of one of those big first games. I think there was actually a really good chance we could have seen a 3D Mario at the end of the last show. I think Metroid Prime 4 was just the option that they decided to go with at the last second, because I think both of those games are going to be on Switch 2, so I just think it was a last minute decision for Nintendo to say, let's go Metroid this time, and maybe save that Mario reveal for a special presentation specifically for this Switch 2, or maybe they just have a whole presentation for this one game, like they treat it like Breath of the Wild. I mean, we've been hearing rumors how it's going to be open world and huge, so maybe it's just a dedicated show for Mario, or for Switch 2 later this year, and we're just done with the Nintendo Directs this year. So much more that I want to talk about with a Switch 2 presentation and the timing of everything, but yeah, I'll save that for another video because there's still so much to uncover and what Nintendo's big plans are for the next huge AAA game. But let me know in the comments down below, do you think this Nintendo Direct that we just received is the last one for Switch 1? Or do you think Nintendo's going to have another one here in September? Let me know down below, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.